Meanwhile, the debate around the controversial law on the leader of nation is picking up heat. Public activists demand the country's MPs to explain how the ban on critic and even mentioning of the president's name will affect the democracy in Kazakhstan.
Public Foundation journalist in trouble has requested the authorities to provide the list of president's property and family members. People have the right to know what and who exactly became inviolable after adopting amendments to the law on the nation's leader. The head of the foundation, Ruslana Taukina, sees numerous contradictions in the controversial law.
We want to know what is the law's definition of the term impact. It is stated that impact of any form can be prosecuted. Does it imply critique or some unpleasant statements addressed at the president?
The amendments to the nation's leader status was adopted by the Kazakh parliament on May 13th. A month later, the law came in force, though without the president's approval. Lawyer Sergei Utkin says it's rather questionable whether the law is legitimate. As a lawyer, I assume that this law is not actually enforced. These three guys, leaders of the two chambers of the parliament and the prime minister, had no right to adopt it. The constitution says the law is only legitimate if signed by the president. The experienced political consultant Kanat Ibragimov was circumcised in honor of the nation's leader recently. The addressee of the president, however, was left unnamed, since even the infamous law does not specify any names. Moreover, the legislator itself is seen by many as questionable gift from PR specialists. This was a tragic mistake of the president's PR specialists. The law is laughable and it will be revoked as soon as the new leader will take over. At the same time, there is a possibility the country will not see another leader for quite a while, as 3 years ago the parliament has awarded Nazarbayev with the right to run for presidency indefinitely.
The Communication Ministry will not deal with the case on the illegal blockages of internet websites. This was stated by the ministry's representatives on Wednesday. Earlier, the defendant appeared to be ready to settle but experienced a change of mind, as otherwise that would indicate the officials actually admit the fact of state-approved blocking.
The Communications and Information Ministry will not deal with illegal blocking of popular websites after all. This was stated yesterday by the ministry representatives, who said it was the official position of its leadership. Interestingly, at one point the respondents were considering a settlement agreement, which would mean they factually admit the blocking. Of course, the ministry management is absolutely sure to win, arguing that it's not the ministry's prerogative to block websites. More than 120 activists of the Kaznet Freedom Movement lodged complaints against the ministry, of which only one filed by Roshana Sergepova was accepted by the court. Sergepova says that the ministry is supposed to provide equal access to internet resources to all citizens of Kazakhstan.
I want to be able to choose where to get the information I want and independently analyze it myself. It is unacceptable when they block certain websites and limit access to information to Kazakh citizens.
Another lawsuit against the Communications and Information Ministry seemed to be suspended. The court did not reject it, while the ministry doesn't admit the charges. Journalist Eugenia Plahina has been trying to bring the officials to account for already 2 months, although unsuccessful. When Roshana Sergepova realized the ministry is backing out of the settlement, she said the ministry will completely ignore the issue soon. In the meantime, officials refrained from commenting on the issue.
The celebrations of the Day of Astana and President's anniversary on July 6 were somewhat met with an unfortunate incident involving the drowning of a little girl. The rest of the story is next.
The record-breaking fancy celebrations in Astana are over, replaced by the somber reality of the day after. A lot of water and efforts were required to clean up the city, which was the center of attention just 24 hours ago. Unfortunately, some of the districts suffered tragedies on the day of the celebration. A 2-year-old girl has drowned in the Ishim River just in the middle of the day. She fell in the water on the busy and crowded jetty as mass of people rushed to the arrived motorboat. The gate was open and the girl fell off when the boat was departing. The water flow has pushed her to an inaccessible area. Now the gate can be opened and anyone can dive here. The rescuers reacted immediately. Unfortunately, they couldn't find the toddler within the critical first 5 minutes. People were probably afraid to jump in the water because of the arriving boat, as it may have flattened them. Plus, there were not many courageous people here. One man has rushed to help together with an old man who could not swim at all. The police started an investigation on the case to find out whether or not the boarding procedures were violated or if it was just a tragic accident. Aside this case, it appears Astana residents handled their celebrations well, as no more emergencies were registered in the city.
That was the last story for today's edition of the news. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow. Goodbye.